Welcome back to Boosted Problems. In this episode, we're going to get the supercharger firmly mounted up to the Ej257. We're going to get all the brackets painted, welded, ready to go, rock solid. Enjoy.
As you can see, we have our 3 spacers here that I'm going to use. The 2 in the back are 2-inch even. This one started out as a 3-inch, and I made it the equivalent of, this is one of the 2-inch spacers, as well as all of the washers that used to be with it. I'm within a half a millimeter or so. I did need to bring the front nose down just a little bit. So if I need to shim that with a single washer later, I will. You can see here, I could not find bolts that were this long. In order to go through this, and the supercharger, the bolts needed to be over 6 inches long. So what I did do, in fact, was pick up a 3-foot piece of all thread, and these are just nuts on both sides. So I just had to make my own bolts. I just started out with a real big piece of this. As you cut it, you just have to make sure that you put a nut on it so that when it gets time to actually cut it to length, that you don't end up with all of this ugly end. Like, that's a cut end right there. This is a nice pretty end. My camera won't really focus in on anything quite that close. If you've never seen all thread before, that's what it looks like. So the next step is going to be bolting the supercharger on with these in place. Get everything set up exactly left to right, forward to back, up, down, exactly where I want it. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to weld these. I have everything bolted into place. The supercharger is now very much higher up than it used to be. These used to be almost touching, so we've gone up about 3 fingers. Really pretty sturdy. I can rock this whole engine by that. So I think we're going to be good. This is also going to leave me a lot of space underneath. I mean, I can fit my whole fist. We're probably almost 5 inches in there. So I may be able to build the intake in there and come out the front here. Maybe have my intake hose somewhere around here. As you can see, I have got the extensions on these are nice and welded on to where we had. Built up a little bit down around here just to get it nice and strong. So we've got our all thread in here. I've got the one nut here is actually trimmed down to fit a little bit. These other ones are just sitting here on some blocks so that they're sticking through. The next step is going to be to put the supercharger up on top of here. We've got the TGVs bolted down with some tape underneath so that I can't get anything in the engine. This is going to enable me to take these pieces of 2.5 here, and once the supercharger's on there, still have to decide whether this is going to get run back like this and have the other one go right to it, or if we're going to try to get down under the manifold. Alright, here we've got the supercharger on. Just to show you how much tighter it is. Before, I used to have quite a bit of wiggle. I used to be able to move the supercharger back and forth quite a bit. Now that these are a tighter hole and everything's welded up, this is all the wiggle I get out of the charger. I mean, it's not much. We're talking maybe a couple of millimeters. I can now crank these down. These aren't even tight yet. And you can see we're not even drawn in yet. There we go. Oh yeah. Looking good. Now, this thing is solid. I mean, rock solid. Nothing is going anywhere. Now I can begin to see how much room I've got down under here. Play around with some pipes that I have upstairs. Obviously, I can't just bring this into here. Originally, the charger was going to be lower, and I was definitely going to come back like this.
Hey everybody, welcome to the end of the video. If you made it this far, thank you very much for watching the whole thing. I appreciate it. In the next video, we're going to work on some weight reduction. We're going to take a couple 100 pounds out of the car, most of the interior pieces, and we're going to fit some much lighter weight seats from a Celica GT. We're also going to work on the exhaust a little bit and possibly get the diff in. See you guys next time.
We can get on down, girl. Show me why I wanna do it. We can get on down, girl. We can work it through, baby. We can do it. We can. Let's start our lives, baby. We'll go through it. We can get on down, baby. We can do it. We can do it. We'll go through it. We can start our lives, baby. Let's work on a timing, girl. 1, 2, 3, you are my world. Why couldn't we do it this time? So now how's your timing, girl? Did you buy that watch? If you did, synchronize with mine. If you do that, we'll be just fine. Maybe someday we'll synchronize. Why couldn't we do it this time?